Just imagine when you're on FaceTime and I'm telling you about how I almost died while trying to do marathon training. So this morning I wake up at 4:35 a.m. The alarm was so early that my wife got upset and she said, 4:30? What are you? And I had to explain to her, convince her that I need to wake up this early so I can go run. Because the thing is, I'm 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 doing long runs. And long runs for marathon training, we talking about 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 miles of just running. You know how long that takes? So for me to do that on any given day in the wintertime, I gotta do it either in the morning or in the evening. Now, it's cold. It's going to be cold either way. We recently had snow and ice, and her initial grievance was, first of all, that it was 4:30 in the morning. I went to bed at like we both. Well, I went to bed at close to like 9:50, between 9:50 and 10:15, and she came up. She probably went to bed close to like 11, maybe 11:30. I'm not sure, but to her surprise, she hears a 4:30 alarm, and she was shook, rightfully so, because I didn't give her any warning. But she had two main grievances. The first main one being that it was early. It was ungodly early for no reason in her brain. And then I explained, I'm going for a long run. I'm going for 21 miles today. Her second grievance was, there's black ice outside. It's too cold. Like, this doesn't make any sense. What are you doing? And I was like, okay. So for the amount of time that I'm going to be running, given this is a weekday and I still got to do a little bit of work during the day, I, I if I'm going to run in the morning, it has to be at the booty crack of dawn. If I'm going to run in the evening, I'm going to be running into the night, and I'm going to be running into the cold. It's going to be cold either way. We are in lows that are below freezing currently. Like all this week, everything is below freezing when the temperature's at its coldest. I walked outside today, and it was about 27 degrees Fahrenheit. It was like between 27 and 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Below freezing. So once we have a 3-minute discussion about how I have to do this and there's no way around it, it's going to be dark either way. She didn't want me out in the dark where there was also where there's a possibility of me slipping on ice. And I said, this has to happen. Now, choose the morning time because at least I'm running into the warmer weather, relatively speaking. So I'm getting dressed. I'm getting myself together. I warm up a little bit, do some stretches and some push-ups and stuff to get my body up, because the last thing I want is to be like to just start running without having warmed up, doing exercises, and I get itchy. So there's this weird thing that happens with my body. I'm sure it happens to other people. I guess it's called like the runner's itch. So if you don't run frequently, or you are running without having warmed up, I'll speak for me. When I run long distances without having warmed up, I'm liable to get the runner's itch, where in my my butt, my quads, my hamstrings, sometimes in my calves, sometimes in like the bottom of my midsection. My body just starts itching. It's not hives or anything. It's literally the cells in my body, the cells in my muscle tissues are shook. And they're like, wait, what's happening? What is happening? Ah? And then I just start itching. It's one of the most uncomfortable things. I hate it so much. It is unnecessarily taxing and distracting from the run. And it comes in waves, and I can tell when my brain, like just before it's about to happen, I start thinking about the itch. And it's because the body knows. The body keeps the score. If you got that reference, good job. Otherwise, look it up. The body keeps the score. So I know what's going to happen. I'm very in tune to my body after months of training and having run half marathons in the past, 2 to be exact. And this is going to be my first marathon, but I know how my body gets right before it starts itching. I'm just mentally preparing for it. But thankfully, I warm up. I went upstairs, get a little bit of fruit, get my gear together so I could get my hat, my windbreaker jacket, gloves. Pay attention to that word because I'm foreshadowing something. Gloves. And I also bike a lot, so I have bike lights, so I just get one of the lights for while it is dark outside so I can be visible to vehicles and other people. And so I can shine a light on the road while I'm running so that I make sure I don't slip on any ice. Get everything, go outside. I use the Nike Run app to keep track of my runs. So that's the Nike Run app. I'm going. Good to go. Got my water. I got Cliff Block shoes. Those are really good. I enjoy those for sustenance during the run. So I'm running, and where I live near a stadium complex. So I'm basically running around a stadium, and that's basically my little makeshift track. So it's great. Slight incline at parts and slight decline at parts, but it's a very beautiful circle. So I'm running, killing the game. And in the beginning of the run, because I'm warming up, and then I start sweating because I have on layers. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. I'm not itching. I'm good. Miles 1 to 11. Miles 1 through 11. I am good, solid. And fun fact, I don't run with headphones. I'm not listening to anything but my heartbeat, my thoughts, and my footsteps in nature. So I'm out here at peace, at one with all that is around me. I don't use headphones anymore. There was a time when I was training for a half marathon where I would listen to podcasts and church sermons while I would run. But training for this marathon, I made a very conscious decision to say I'm going low tech to no tech running as often as possible. The only tech that I'll have is just my phone, and that's just to keep time and keep track of the mileage and such. But I don't have music. I don't have any other stimulation, whether it's on speaker or in headphones. I'm good. First 11 miles, I'm killing it. I didn't check my phone. I just went straight into it because I'm mentally preparing myself and getting more into my body with the moment when I feel the need to check for mileage is the moment when I hit like a threshold of, okay, My body is kind of feeling it. Now I'm really trying to figure out what we doing. Where are we? And I remember when I hit that point of, man, I've been running for a little minute. It feels like I've run at least 8 miles. And when I say that, I mean, if I was to check my phone and I'd only run 6.5 miles, I would have been devastated. Because you put in all that effort and it feel like you done run really far and you are only a quarter of the way there. I wanted to make sure that wasn't the case. So by the time I checked for mileage the first time for the entire run, I'm thinking I've run at least 8 miles, and I 8 mile. If you got that reference, you're golden. Chief it's you. If I was thinking that I'd run about 8 miles minimum, and I run 11.4 miles. I was like, yeah, we good. Now here's where things hit the fan. I am, at this point, I was eating my gels. Remember how I told you in the very beginning, my hands started, how I told you I had gloves. I had like big snow gloves. Like I had on like snow shoveling gloves. Not runner's gloves. My hands started to sweat a little bit while I was in the beginning of the run. I'm like, good, okay, I'm gonna take these gloves off, let my body reacclimate, get my hands not sweaty because I don't want wet hands inside of my gloves. That feels uncomfy. So I ran without gloves for a couple miles, maybe quite literally, maybe just 2 miles, maybe even 3. And my hands are solid, good. They were warm. My body was warm. But I think over time, when I started running a little bit slower and my body started to slow down and my body reacclimated where it's like, okay, at first we were warmed up and we had a lot of activity. Now we've reached another resting zone. Like, okay, the body was like, all right, we're not stopping anytime soon. So this is going to be our new bottom. So my new bottom was running. It was a running bottom versus a walking or resting bottom. My hands then started to get cold again. I said, all right, let me put my gloves on. But in between miles 12 and 15, my gloves were not working. I don't know what was going on, but it literally was as if I wasn't wearing gloves. I was on the brink of catching frostbite, bruh, from 12 to 15. I was fighting through it. I said, I was working. I was like, all right, I need to find a way to warm my hands back up. I'm good. I'm good. And what hurt the most was that my body, my legs and my endurance and my cardio, I still felt good. Like my goal was to hit 21 miles today. And I was on par. If I hadn't, my hands weren't about to fall off, I could have kept going. But I was so upset that frostbite, like that frost was biting. Like if I tried to tough it out and go to 21 miles, which would have been running an extra hour and a half or so, like from 15 to 21, bro, when I tell you, my hands would have fallen off. Like I couldn't feel my fingertips while I was wearing these heavy gloves. It didn't make any sense, and I was so upset. I was like, yo, I need hand warmers to put inside of my gloves to avoid this. But I had no hand warmers. But everything else was good. Funny thing is, in the past, I've had other issues where it was like problems outside of muscle fatigue that prevented me from finishing whatever the goal was. I run into being unprepared with cold hands and I didn't have gloves before, I run into what was the other thing? I ran into a swollen knee, my left knee. So it wasn't even muscle fatigue. It was just like my knee just hurt. It was just sheer pain. I run into getting overheated. I run into not having enough hydration. Like I literally raw dogged a 10-mile run, and I didn't have any water or any chews. I was just running, and it was in the middle of the summertime because I thought I was doing something, but apparently I was hurting myself. It was so bad, like I got woozy and lightheaded. I had to stop on the side of the trail, and my wife had to drive up and pick me up. She got it on video, it's the whole thing. I might make a video about it later. But my hand was about to fall off, and despite all of the platitudes and the self encouragement of saying, yeah, if you got 9 reasons to give up, as long as you, even if you have 9 reasons to give up, make sure you get 10 reasons to keep going. I couldn't get that 10th reason. All 9 reasons for giving up was in my fingers. Yeah. The 10th reason was my 10th finger to give up. It's like, fam, your fingers are not worth this training session. Wrap it up. So I took it back to the crib, and I ended up running 16.44 miles, which is still dope. Like, that's still amazing. Woke up at 4:30, started running like 5:40, and ran 16.44 miles to start my day. So it was still a really solid run, but when I tell you, my hands almost fell off, and I was shook. I was shaken and stirred. But the race is, at the time of recording, the race is soon. So the race is weeks away. And I'm mentally and physically feeling really strong about being able to run that 26.2 miles. But let this be encouragement to y'all. If you are training for a marathon, go ahead and make sure that you got everything you need to succeed, especially if you're running in the cold. I don't care if you have gloves. Make sure you have hand warmers to put inside your gloves. Because my goodness. Thanks for watching.